Hey folks, this is Kevin from iCrew coming to you from beautiful Seattle, Washington in the United States. I just want to go over some recent changes in iCrew around reservations. And this is in response to a number of clubs really starting to utilize the reservation feature to help their members get back on the water, mostly rowing singles and some doubles. So let's step through the changes in the reservation system. So we'll go over some options available to you on your club profile. So I'm logged on as a club administrator, bringing up the club profile and scrolling down to the reservation settings. So we have a number of new options here. We'll go through each of them. So maximum minutes, this is just the number of minutes any single boat reservation can be. So in this case, 120 minutes or 2 hours. This next setting, the maximum days ahead, this is how many days ahead somebody can make a boat reservation. So in this case, 2 weeks. These are values you can change, of course. Maximum per member is the number of reservations any member is allowed to have on the calendar. And of course, this is future reservations. So here, this club is setting a maximum limit of 5 reservations on the calendar for a given member. The minutes between shells, oars usage, or equipment usage, this is the number of minutes between reservations for a given boat or oars. So in this case, we're setting a time buffer of 15 minutes for the same boat to be taken out. The thought here is you're going to need time to bring a boat in from the water, get it cleaned up before the next person takes it out. This checkbox here, no limits on privately owned. So these limits above that we just talked about, these 4 limits, if a boat is privately owned, you can ignore those limits. So somebody taking out their own boat, none of these would apply. Here, a new option to make oars optional in a boat reservation. So now you can make a reservation and not have to select oars. And then maximum members present. This is to help avoid having too many people at the boathouse at one time. And we're going to talk about this now in more detail with some pictures to help explain how this works. So here's a graphic representation of a bunch of boats that have been reserved for a given day. What we want to try to avoid is having too many people at the boathouse at one time. So here with a reservation starting at 12 p.m., we can see this is going to overlap with 5 other reservations, assuming those are all singles. And when the reservation ends at 2 p.m., quite a few overlaps here, 7 in total. So as long as the number of overlaps at the start or end of the reservation does not exceed the limit you establish on your club profile, the reservation will be allowed to be made. And we also discussed that buffer between equipment usage. That is to help ensure there's time between a single boat being taken out. So here you can see there's a gap that's been enforced to make sure this boat doesn't come in and then immediately go back out on the water. And this last setting, enabling the on the water log, this option is used to have folks check out onto the water and check back in when they return. So you know who's on the water at any given time, when they took the boat out, and when they return. And one last thing, the maximum per member setting, the minutes between shell oars usage, and the maximum members present, all those values are optional. So just leave them blank if you don't want to set limits in that area. Now let's talk about some changes your members will see when they're making a boat reservation and needing to check out to the water or back in from the water. So here I'm logged on as a member. Let's go make a boat reservation. Some notes are included at the top of the page to talk about these limits that your club may have set. So here we're letting people know they have a maximum of 120 minutes for the duration of a given reservation, and they can't make a reservation more than 14 days in advance. And there's also a 15-minute buffer being established between the use of equipment. So of course they select what they want to take out, look for open availability, and make their reservation. Now we'll go ahead and just make a reservation for the Vesper and the Sea oars, and I'll make that reservation. Now they could check out immediately. This is that on the water log. They can check out if they're going out immediately right here. Now let's say they've made the reservation a day ahead of time and they have just logged in. iCrew sees that they have a reservation starting soon, so it gives them the option to go right to the logbook to check out onto the water. And if they say yes, they can come here and go ahead and click out at and head on to the water. The same thing will happen too if they return from a row, log on to iCrew. iCrew sees that a reservation has just ended, and they'll be offered to bring up this page so they can check in from the water. So that's a recap of the recent changes to iCrew for boat reservations. Of course, if you have any questions, send us an email at icrew.club@gmail.com. Thanks, and I hope you're all doing well.